The NFL draft is just days away, and today I'm going to be answering your questions on the black and gold as we get ready for the second NFL draft with Omar Khan as the GM of this football team. Can't wait to answer your questions today. I'm sure you got a bunch of great ones. Make sure you guys click that subscribe button if you haven't already to join the most interactive Steelers community here on YouTube. All right, I love talking with you guys every single week on the Steelers Talk live show, which is where we film these mailbags. And if you want to get your voice on the show and you want to have your questions, your opinions, your voice on the show, all you got to do is click that subscribe button. Join us for our live shows every single Wednesday starting at 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and then get your questions on the show. It really is that easy. I love this community, man. It's the largest Steelers community, fan community here on YouTube. We've built it over the last 2 years, and I couldn't be more appreciative of all the support that you give us. So with that, I'm going to pause and open it up for questions. And we got a $5 super chat from Jonathan Goshorn, a Gold Club member here. He says, if Brock Bowers is there at 20, do the Steelers take him? No. You got Pat Freiermuth. I think they like Darnell Washington. I think they like Connor Hayward. They just got Michael Pruitt in free agency as well. So you got 4 guys that I think fit well with what this team wants to do, and you have 4 very big team needs. All right, you got corner, you got offensive tackle, you got center, and you got wide receiver. You got to address all 4 of those in the early rounds of the draft. All right, 4 picks in the first 3 rounds, 4 big needs. There's no room to take a tight end. So even if Brock Bowers is there at 20, I'm not taking him. Then we got one from $2 from Hot Rod 24. What's up, Hot Rod? Gold Club member here. It says, Coop Appreciation Super Chat. He does great. Mr. Coop, we do appreciate all of your hard work for all the Yinzers out there in Steelers Nation. All right, now let's get into Shadron. Love it. It says, what are the chances that the Steelers trade for Brandon Aiyuk this offseason? Not good. The 49ers have reportedly not entertained trade offers for Brandon, and honestly, if I'm them, I'm not doing that either. He's a perfect fit for their offense. He was an all-pro receiver for Brock Purdy. Last year, they went to the Super Bowl in large part because of him. They'd be fools to let him go, in my opinion. So if the Niners aren't going to come to the table, it takes 2 to tango when it comes to a trade, and you don't have a dance partner if you're the Pittsburgh Steelers here. So even though I love Brandon Aiyuk, I think that he'd be a great fit here. He's also a great fit in San Francisco, and I don't think they're going to let him go. But let me know down there in the comments section, what is the % chance that the Steelers trade for Brandon Aiyuk? Scale of 0 to 100. So 0 meaning no chance, 100 meaning they're definitely going to get him. It's going to be the pinned comment on today's show, so whenever YouTube throws you an ad break during this mailbag, just go down there in the comments section, find that pinned comment. It's right at the top of the comment section for you, and put it on a scale of 0 to 100 for me. Then we got one from Clack, a first-time super chatter, $5. Let's go, Clack. And he says, I think we should reunite Mitchell with GP, but I heard some stuff about his character issues might just be a lie. How would you feel about AD Mitchell? So it's interesting because I love Adonai Mitchell, man. I think he's a great player. Reminds me a lot of CeeDee Lamb when he was coming out of Oklahoma. Great player. Coop and I are big fans. All right, but you got some pretty big needs on this team, man. And I get that wide receiver's one of them. But I really think that with this team, you're going to be really prioritizing the run game next year. That's what Arthur Smith does. And you can't have a successful run game if your offensive line isn't completely plugged up, all right, with really good players. So I think that it's probably a bigger need for this team to get an offensive lineman, whether that be a center, whether that be an offensive tackle. And as much as I like Adonai Mitchell, this is a loaded wide receiver class, and you can get a really good wide receiver 2 option in round 2 of this draft class this year. So as much as I love AD Mitchell, I'd love to see him in black and gold. I think it's smarter to take an offensive lineman in round 1. And now, before we get into the rest of this week's questions, I want to talk about today's sponsor, Mando Whole Body Deodorant. Use code CHAT today at shopmando.com for $5 off their starter pack today when you go to shopmando.com. Ditch the soap and step up to the plate with Mando Whole Body Deodorant today. It's developed by a doctor, and this game-changing formula is safe for your entire body and knocks out odor like a champ. Mando is made with mandelic acid, which picks off odor at the source, keeping you fresh for up to 72 hours. Mando is available in solid sticks, invisible cream, body wash, cleaning bars, and deodorant wipes for on-the-go use. Don't let foul balls ruin your game. Switch to Mando and keep your body odor in fair territory by taking advantage of their special offer for new customers of $5 off their best-selling starter pack when you use code CHAT at shopmando.com. Guys, I've been using Mando products for about the last couple of months here, ever since we started partnering with them here at Chat Sports, and I'm a big fan of their bourbon leather body wash that I love using every single day in the shower. Cassie loves it as well. You can ask her yourself, all right? Also, they got a bunch of different products in there that they love, like deodorant wipes, all these different things that come included with their starter pack, which is perfect for new customers, by the way. It comes with a solid stick of deodorant, cream tube deodorant, 2 free products of your choice, like mini body wash and deodorant wipes, that I mentioned before. I really recommend the body wash, by the way, and free shipping is included. Luckily, I have a discount code to help you get hooked on my favorite smelling whole body deodorant on the market. New customers get $5 off a starter pack with our exclusive code. That equates to over 40% off your starter pack. Use code CHAT at shopmando.com. That's shopmando.com. A big thank you to Mando Whole Body Deodorant for sponsoring today's edition of Steelers Talk. Then we got one from King Yinzer himself, Anthony Fuller, in the chat. Says, should we try to trade for Davante Adams? You could try all you want, Anthony. It's not going to happen. The Raiders have said a number of times this offseason they're not trading Davante Adams. Now, I know some other Steelers content creators on here that will go unnamed have been saying some stuff about Davante Adams, go get him. It's not going to happen, all right? The Raiders love him. They're going to be drafting a quarterback this year, and there's just no way that I see them unloading somebody that I consider to be a top 5 wide receiver in the game today. He just runs such crisp routes. He's really good at the catch point. I'd love him to be a Pittsburgh Steeler. I just don't see them coming to the table, if you will, on a potential trade. So it's kind of like the Brandon Aiyuk stuff. It's like, would I love to have him? Absolutely. Would I be willing to pay a high price to get him here in Pittsburgh? Yes. But will the other team come to the table? That's the part that I think where it kind of crumbles down. Then we got one from Rob Lightfoot here. What's up, Rob? Says, do you think we could move up to 9 or 14? It's possible. I think it was Mark Caboli, the Pittsburgh Steelers reporter for The Athletic, said today the most likely scenario from his end is that the Steelers are going to trade up in round 1 for a tackle. Now, like I said, guys, you got 4 major team needs, and then you have 4 picks in the first 3 rounds. That's where you can kind of expect to get starting capable players. I'm just not sure if they have the draft capital to move up. But listen, man, they did move up a little bit last year. They gave up a 4th-round pick, I believe, a 3rd or 4th-round pick to be able to move up a couple spots for Broderick. If that's something that could be done again this year, maybe 16 with the Seattle Seahawks, I don't know. You can move up a couple spots. Take a Troy Fano, take an Olu Fashanu, take a Marius Mims, whoever you love at that spot. It's definitely going to be interesting to see what Omar Khan likes to do. We know how aggressive the con artist likes to be. Then we got a Gold Club member here, $20 super chat from Pittsburgh fan 412, who says, follow up on the Bowers question. Couldn't we just play him at wide receiver 2 instead of tight end? Take your shot. I mean, yes. Probably could, but here's the thing. It's kind of like the Adonai Mitchell thing. It's like, I love Adonai Mitchell, all right, but you probably got to use the number 20 pick to get him, and let's just face it, the pass game isn't going to be the priority for this offense next year. It's going to be the run game with Najee and Jalen, and then it's the play-action passing game off of the run game, and all of that crumbles to the floor if you don't have a good offensive line setting the foundation for the run game. So you got 2 spots on your offensive line you got to fill this draft. I think if you take a tight end or a wide receiver, you're kind of going against everything that you're trying to do heading into next year. Then we got, so let me know. Shout out your guy down there in the comment section. What sleeper pick in this year's NFL draft class do you want the Pittsburgh Steelers to target this year? I'm a big fan of Garrett Greenfield. I'm a big fan of Jalen Coker from Holy Cross. It's a bunch of guys that I think are going to be really good values on day 3 of the draft. Christian Boyd, defensive tackle out of UNI, really good player as well. Let me know your sleeper picks down there in the comment section. Let me go on from Sheldon Bennett. Shout out to Sheldon here. Says, what do you think of Amarius Mims and Cedric Van Pran to go with Jones to reunite them for our offensive line. I love this idea. I think Cedric Van Pran moves really well for his position, or for his size, I should say. Guys that big usually don't move the way that he does, all right? Super fast off the ball, really physical player as well. But the play strength, actually. He's a big guy, but the play strength leaves a little bit to be desired, in my opinion. That's why I have Cedric Van Pran as a third-round center prospect. But if they use the second-round pick on him, I actually wouldn't mind it. I like him a lot. And then Amarius Mims, I think, is ready to be a starting right tackle in the league right away. I know people are worried that he hasn't played a lot of college football, but the time that he did play, he was fantastic on film. I think he's ready to play in the National Football League right away. If you bring these Georgia Bulldogs back together, I think it's going to be a dominant offensive line for the future. Now make sure you guys click that thumbs up icon if you haven't already. If you're pumped up for the NFL draft, really do appreciate all of your guys' support out there. We're super excited to break it all down with you guys. Last year, it was so much fun, as the con artist absolutely had one of the best Steelers draft classes in the history of this team, at least in my opinion. They got some really high-end players. Hopefully they can do the same this year. So make sure you click that subscribe button, click that thumbs up icon if you're excited. Then we got one from Dominic here. It says, do you think Najee will get an extension, and do you think Fields will get an extension? If we're talking about this offseason, no, neither one. Fields won't get an extension because they don't know what they have in Russell Wilson yet. Because it's like, if you sign Justin Fields to an extension, and by the way, why would Fields do that, right? Why would Fields be incentivized to get an extension? If Russell Wilson balls out and they win 13 games this year, and they win a playoff game, at least one, you're going to be giving Russell Wilson a big contract, all right? So why would Justin Fields lock himself in for the next 3-4 years to be Russell Wilson's backup, right? That just doesn't make sense on his end. It makes more sense for him to be on a one-year deal, and if Russ doesn't play well, then Fields will get his opportunity. But if Russ plays well, then Justin has the freedom to hit the free agency market next year and test the market. As far as Najee goes, there's a report saying the Steelers don't have long-term plans for him. I don't know if I believe those or not, but I don't think he's going to get an extension. They will pick up his fifth-year option, though. You can take that to the bank. Then they got Ethan Bullard here. Says, how long do you think Russell Wilson will hold off Fields this year? I think he's going to hold him off the entire season. All right, so if you're a Justin Fields guy out there, and I understand why you would be, I just wouldn't get my expectations up too high about him playing this year. And honestly, if Russell Wilson plays really well and this team wins 12, 13 games and they win a playoff game, like, they're going to be giving him another contract. They're not going to move off of a guy that just got him that far in the playoffs for a guy that, didn't play the entire season, is an unproven entity, and replace the guy that got you 13 wins in a playoff win over. It just doesn't make sense, right? So I think Russell Wilson's going to be a great fit in this Arthur Smith offense. It's not going to ask him to do too much. It's going to ask him to throw deep balls off of play action and make plays late in the game in the clutch. And those are two things he does exceptionally well still at age 35, and I'm super excited to see him play this next year. So let me know down there in the comments section, what say you? Will Russell Wilson be the quarterback one for the Pittsburgh Steelers for the entire season? Let me know, yes or no. All right, and just keep in mind, if you're saying no here, that means that the team is struggling with Russell Wilson, and the team is probably not going to win a Super Bowl in 2024. So let me know down there in the comments section. Will Russell Wilson be the QB1 for the entire season? Yes or no? Let me know what you're thinking. That'll be it for this week's mailbag. I appreciate everybody that tuned in to the Steelers Talk live show this week and submitted questions. If you want to get a question on next week's live show, make sure you click that subscribe button and join us Wednesday, 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time every single week.